New Pentagon photos show just how close a Russian fighter came to a U.S. reconnaissance aircraft earlier this week. The pictures show the jet buzzing within 5 feet of the Air Force plane high above the Baltic Sea. You can see the Russian pilot in the cockpit. U.S. officials call the encounter unsafe and provocative. There have been more than 35 interactions between U.S. and Russian planes this month. Here to talk about the cat-and-mouse game with Russia and other global security concerns confronting us right now here, Fox News military analyst and retired four-star General Jack Keane. General, good to have you here. First of all, your thoughts on Russia right now, because it seems as though we're constantly seeing these interactions. I'm calling them interactions, but this doesn't feel like a good situation given what's going on in Syria, given what's going on in Ukraine. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, they're being certainly reckless getting that close to another aircraft. But what's happening? They were certainly very humiliated when the U.S. fighter pilot took down a Syrian fighter aircraft. And we had total justification to do that. The Iranians run the ground force. Their generals are on the ground. They were attacking our U.S.-led coalition forces on the ground, and then they ordered an air attack against them as well, and we took that aircraft out. We will do that every single time something like that happens. Russia is threatening to do something to us if we fly west of the Euphrates. We will fly west of the Euphrates, and believe me, they are not going to shoot us down because we will destroy their air base and everything that's on it.
Wow. All right. So, in other words, no one wants World War III here. The Russians don't want to engage us in that way that would, put us in a position where we're forced to really come through with some major force. Listen,
and we have overwhelming combat power in the region, and they've got 30 or 40 aircraft, and that's it.
So let me turn to North Korea, where it seems as though the president is getting fed up. You saw his tweet the other day, basically saying that, look, I was hopeful that China could help us out here. And they tried, but they can't. And so what does that mean? If China can't influence North Korea and we're still trying to, what do we need to do, General?
Yeah, well, there's no doubt the North Koreans are continuing their accelerated and steady march towards nuclearizing ballistic missiles and also developing intercontinental ballistic missiles, which this rocket test was about, that can reach the United States. The Chinese have not been able to slow this down at all. I think the administration went into this with their eyes wide open. They were hoping the Chinese would come up with something, but hope is not a method. Now I think the place we're at now is the policy is probably shifting. It's not announced publicly, but here's what I think they're doing. They're going to apply maximum pressure on North Korea. And by that I mean any country, any ally of us that's doing business with North Korea, our Treasury Department is probably contacting them right now and telling them to knock it off, and here's what will happen to you if you don't knock it off.
All right, well, what is maximum pressure then? I mean, more sanctions?
Maximum pressure is sanctions. Every business entity that North Korea is involved in is going to be contacted by the United States, except those in China. Those in China, we're going to have to move on China and begin to sanction the banks and finance companies that work and support North Korea. No one from the United States has ever sanctioned China, but that's the road that we're on. And what that really means, you have a bank there who does business with North Korea, but that bank does business with other entities who are allies of ours, and that is where we will apply the pressure. I'm sure
so there's going to be
economic
consequences. There are going to be people out there that will not like this, General, because they'll say, wait a second, we need to do business with China.
Well, China has been hoodwinking its own people and us for years by saying, let's maintain a solid economic relationship. That's the key to having a relationship with us, while they trample over their own people and also while they trample over our interest in the region. We're on a collision course eventually with China.
General, good to see you. Thank you very much, General Jack
Good talking
Keane.
to you, Trish.